Today I'm talking about completing the square, another way of solving a quadratic equation. One way we talked about it was factoring, also taking the square root of a quadratic to find the solution. So that's another way, completing the square. Completing the square is you can solve any quadratic equation by completing the square. So let's get started. First, let's review algebra tiles, what they are. Algebra tile, this big square is considered what we call x squared. This would be x. This we call unit or ones by the constant or the c term. If I have a quadratic in the form of ax squared plus bx, and I want to convert this or transform it into a perfect square trinomial, I need to look at the terms here. So I got an x term, a b term, but I'm looking for the c term here. So let's look at an example. So I got an x squared and I got 4x. So I want to see what I can figure out how to get my last term here to make a perfect square trinomial. So first I take half of the 4. Then I take the square of that. So if I got half of 4 is 2, 2 squared would be 4. So my term here would be 4. If I was to factor that, I would get this here. Hence, that could be written as x plus 2 squared. Okay? Let's look at another one. Let's try a different number. Let's use a negative 6. It does not matter if the middle term or the b term is negative or positive, because when you square it, I'm going to be positive. So let's look at one here. So we got x squared. And you got 6x. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm going to take half of my x term. You know it's a negative 6, it's going to be 3. So even though it's a negative 3, it's going to be my answer. Negative 3 times negative 3 would be a positive 9. So I have x squared, and my factors would be x minus 3, x minus 3. Now I can simplify that to x minus 3 squared, which I've just taken and completed the square. Let's do one more. Let's try 8. And we're just going to use algebra this time without any numbers. So I got x So I got x squared plus 8x. I take half of my b term. Half of my b term is 4. Then I square 4. So 4 squared is 16. So I have 4 x plus 4 x plus 4 equals 16 to give me my perfect square trinomial. Let's look at a problem, solving a quadratic problem like this with algebra tiles. Say we have equation, quadratic equation. And we want to factor this, use completing the square to solve this problem. Well, the first thing we got to do, we would have to get rid of the 5 on this side here. Because I want to make this a perfect trinomial over here. Now I go back to my algebra tile. I know I got an x squared. I got 4x and what we just learned before, I take half of my b term and then I square it. So I take half of it here. So to make this a perfect square trinomial, I know I have to have 2 to the second power, which is 4. Since I have 4 on one side, I'm going to add 4 to the other side. So my factors here are simplify this over here, minus 5 plus 4 give me. Then I can simplify this here to be then I take the square root of both sides. This becomes x plus 2 equals plus or minus square root negative 1. Then I subtract 2 from both sides. And we'll leave it in this form here for now. But you see how we work from here? First we got to solve from here. We made it into a perfect square trinomial. And we added to both sides. And we solved the equation from here. It was simply using what we call taking the square root of both sides in order to complete this equation or solve an equation. But first I do completing the square first. And then we got to the point where we could do taking the square root of both sides. And that is solving a quadratic equation by using completing the square.